The 2026 Winter Classic and Stadium Series games have been announced. Both will be taking place in Florida, which I think can be pretty fun, but there are some negatives to it, which of course we'll go over before we take a look at the matchups and the dates. If you're new to the channel and you like hockey jersey content, please make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Winter Classic first. This game will be taking place in Miami on January 2nd, 2026, in between the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. That January 2nd date is going to be interesting because for the second year in a row, they're not going to be playing on New Year's Day. You know, of course, this year, or I guess technically last year, the most recent Winter Classic, they played it on December 31st, so it looks like they don't want to be playing on January 1st anymore, and I guess that is due to the college football. I guess that's a big day in college football. I'm not a college football guy. I'm not even a football guy. So, yeah, at least that's what I was told, is that they seem to be wanting to avoid January 1st just because of college football, which I don't know if it's a great idea to avoid that date just because of college football. I know college football is huge in the United States, but, you know, they have marketed the Winter Classic game as that January 1st game, as that New Year's Day game, and now they're no longer doing that, which I think did cause a lot of people. I mean, there are plenty of reasons why the most recent Winter Classic did not do well. If you guys didn't hear, it was the lowest rating out of every single Winter Classic. There are a number of factors why that game did not do well, in my opinion. You know, the matchup in general, we have already seen the Blues and the Blackhawks play in a Winter Classic. On top of that, both have had a number of outdoor games already. It's also two teams that aren't really that great at the moment, especially the Blackhawks, and it was in between just so many games. I think there were like 13 games that day. It did have its own time slot, but still, I don't know. There were just so many games that day. I think it was just completely overwhelmed, and then also it's on a day where, you know, the Winter Classic usually isn't. So there's a lot of reasons why that game did not do well, but yeah, it's just very interesting to see them kind of change the date this late in the game after, you know, doing the Winter Classic for so many years. Aside from the date itself, what about the matchup? How do I feel about the matchup? Well, I kind of like it-ish. I'm of course glad that the Panthers are getting an outdoor game. It's going to be their first outdoor game. That is really cool. That is going to be a ton of fun. I'm always excited to see new teams get outdoor games, and they're a pretty good team right now on top of that. With the Rangers, they should be a good team. They're not really at the moment. They're kind of turning it around a little bit. But yeah, I expect them to be good in 2026. But with the Rangers, I'm not really as excited for them to be in this game because they've had a number of outdoor games already. They've had two Winter Classics, two Stadium Series, and their last outdoor game was in 2024. It was that Stadium Series game. So it hasn't even been that long since we've seen them in an outdoor game, and they're already getting another one. It's a little bit disappointing, and just in general, I think the matchup isn't that great. Like, the Panthers and the Rangers don't really have a huge rivalry. They're, you know, kind of in the same conference, but that's about it. And they're two teams that should be fairly good. But yeah, it's not like they have a huge hatred in between both teams, at least as far as I'm aware. I don't know. Maybe there is something that I just don't know about. To me, it kind of feels like they chose this matchup because they wanted the Panthers to have an outdoor game, which is fair. And like I said, I do agree with them. I think the Panthers should have an outdoor game, but they just decided, okay, let's throw an original six team at them just to make sure that we have some decent ratings because we don't want the ratings to be bad. Not like Florida is like no longer a draw. Like, they're not as bad of a draw as they used to be, but I still don't think they're a massive market, you know, like the Rangers are, right? You know, I don't think that's saying anything out of line there. I don't think the Panthers are as big of a rating draw as the Rangers are, so they decided to kind of pair them up with an original six team to make sure the ratings aren't terrible. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't choose another original six team, and that's the Leafs. I mean, I know I'm a Leaf fan, so it's a little bit biased here. I do want them to be in another Winter Classic, but the Leafs have a big rivalry with the Panthers, especially after playing each other in the playoffs. I mean, the Leafs got smoked, so it wasn't really a huge kind of, you know, competition there, but still, you know, they're both very good teams in the same division. They're battling out for that first spot in the division right now, so I feel like that could have been a very big draw. It's a lot bigger of a matchup, I would say. I think it would be a lot more fun between those two teams than the Rangers and the Panthers. It just, I don't know. To me, it just feels like the Rangers were kind of just randomly chosen, but I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel. Before we do move on, I do want to quickly talk about what we could see in terms of the jerseys for both of these teams. So I have some concepts here from Chris Wilson. I'll leave a link to his Instagram in the description down below. Definitely check him out. He's a very good concept artist. I like his stuff a lot. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we could see from the Panthers, because I do think the Panthers one is going to be a lot more interesting than the Rangers one. And even though I think the Rangers do a very good job with their outdoor game jerseys, I usually like them a lot. You know, at this point, they kind of have done a number of outdoor games. So the Panthers one is a lot more interesting, at least to myself, because, you know, they are in their first outdoor game, and also they're not that old of a team, right? They've only been a team since the 90s, so they're probably not going to do a throwback to those jerseys, because with the, you know, Winter Classic theme, a lot of the time time, it's like the 50s and older. It's not, from the 90s. That's a little bit too close to modern time. So what it seems like a lot of people were kind of doing, because I've seen more concepts than just Chris's here, but a lot of people seem to think that it's going to be the Miami Clippers that they're going to be at least either throwing back to or taking inspiration from. So this is the jersey that Chris came up with, and honestly, I really like this one a lot. I think this is going to be a ton of fun if this is the direction that they go in. I really like the striping on this jersey. I think that is just a ton of fun. I even like the fact that it goes into the shoulder yoke, but with the shape of the shoulder yoke, that's where it kind of, I don't know, throws me off a little bit. I don't know if I like that shape there. It's a little bit awkward, even though that's how it was on those Miami Clippers jerseys. Yeah, it feels a bit strange, but I guess it's unique. So, it's something that maybe that they would stick with. In terms of the logo, I like that as well. You kind of have almost like the little stripes that are on the rest of the jersey, but just in the outline around the logo there. I think that is cool. And then you do have the, basically, I know it's not the shoulder patch, but the secondary logo for the Florida Panthers just right inside of the middle. So yeah, I kind of like that. I think that is fairly neat. Most other concepts that I saw either used the Leaping Panther logo or just the head of that logo. So I like the fact that Chris did something a little bit different here. In terms of the Rangers, he has them going back to 1946. This was a time where the Rangers had a number on the front of the jersey and the text was in an arch above that number instead of going down diagonally. So usually I'll say I'm not a huge fan of these types of jerseys, but what I like about what Chris did here is he kind of made an away version of that jersey, replacing the Rangers with New York. And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but that's kind of what the Panthers do with their current jerseys right now. On their current home jersey, it says Panthers up top when they're at home, but on their away jersey, it says Florida. So in a way, it kind of has that, theming to it there, the same as what the Panthers home and away jerseys have. So I think that is fairly neat. And with the number on the front, most of the time I don't like that, but this one here is being held by that shield, and I think that is kind of cool. The rest of the jersey, though, I think looks really nice. Of course, I always love the off-white with the Winter Classic jerseys, and I really like the striping up top. I think that is absolutely awesome. So yeah, for a jersey type that I usually don't like, I think Chris did a very good job here. So if both teams do decide to go with something like this, I think I would be pretty happy. I mean, like I said, I'm not really excited about the matchup in general, but I'm excited about the jersey matchup because I think Florida could do something really cool, and the Rangers usually do a pretty good job with their outdoor games. Now, for the Stadium Series game, that will be taking place in Tampa on February 1st, 2026, between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Boston Bruins. This one here, I don't mind the matchup as much because it is between, two rivals. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Boston Bruins have played each other a number of times recently in the playoffs, so there is a little bit of bad blood there, and I think that should be a pretty fun game. Maybe that's the reason why they didn't choose the Leafs and the Panthers, because then it would be an all-Atlantic, Winter Classic and Stadium Series, and maybe that would be a little bit too much. Not really quite too sure the reasoning there, but yeah, this matchup I think is a little bit better than that Winter Classic matchup for sure. Although it does kind of suck that they aren't doing an all-Florida matchup, and I mean like literally the Panthers versus the Lightning in either a Winter Classic or a Stadium Series game. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't do that, but I know they did want to do two different games in Florida to kind of show how the game is growing there. Honestly, I think what could be fun, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be that great, but if they did just the same matchup in the Stadium Series and the Winter Classic game and just had the Panthers and the Lightning play in both, I think that could be kind of fun. You had different jerseys for both games, but I don't know, maybe it would be a little bit too strange. Maybe people wouldn't be on board for that. It's just something that I quickly thought of. It could be interesting. It could be interesting. Anyways, going back to the actual matchup, the Bruins and the Lightning both have played in outdoor games before. With the Tampa Bay Lightning, they did have a Stadium Series game in 2022, so it hasn't been that long, but that game was in Nashville. They haven't had a home Stadium Series game yet. With the Boston Bruins, they are a lot like the Rangers, where this is their fifth outdoor game. However, all four have been Winter Classics. They've not had a Stadium Series game yet, so I'm actually quite excited about it because the Bruins are kind of a traditional team. Like a lot of the time, even when they do make a Winter Classic jersey and it's new, it's something different like this one right here, it still feels old school, it still feels kind of classic. So with the Stadium Series theme kind of being a little bit more bold and futuristic, I'm wondering what the Bruins are going to do there. I think it could be a ton of fun. I'm definitely interested in what their jersey is going to look like, and we do have some jerseys once again from Chris, so let's pull them up. So we'll start off by taking a look at what Chris did for the Bruins. With this one here, I don't mind it too much, but I think I would like for the Bruins to do something a little bit more bold than this, especially with that logo. With that logo there, it does feel still a little bit too classic and old school for the Stadium Series. So I would like for them to do maybe like a full-on bear logo, either use the Meth Bear again, like on this jersey right here, but make it as the full logo, or maybe use that shoulder patch logo, but just the bear itself. That's, I think, the direction that I would like the Bruins to go in, and maybe use brown as like a bigger color, like maybe even the main color of the jersey, have it be brown. I think that could be really awesome. They've had some yellow jerseys in the past, but I think yellow can work for the Boston Bruins. But yeah, I think I would like brown as the main color for the Bruins. Now, with the Tampa Bay Lightning one, this is kind of what I would like the Lightning to do, honestly. I kind of want them to do something similar to their 2022 Stadium Series jersey, but just not have that wear mark on the front. I did not like the wear mark. I liked the lightning bolt on the front, though. So if they use that lightning bolt all the way across like Chris did right here, I think that would be awesome. That is something that I really would like. Maybe even have some lightning bolts on the sleeves too, like just go completely all out, completely crazy. Maybe that'll be a little bit too much, but yeah, I like what Chris did here with the Lightning jersey. I think that looks really nice, and I would like them to do something like that for sure. But anyways, that is going to do it for me for this video here. Overall, like, I'm pretty happy that both teams in Florida are getting a outdoor game. I think that is really, really fun. We'll kind of see how the ice is. You know, that is going to be a pretty big issue. We'll see how the NHL deals with that. Hopefully they do a good job, because if they don't, that's going to suck, and it's not going to make for some very good games. But yeah, really excited for the Stadium Series game. I think that will be just a fun game in general, a really fun matchup, and I think could have some interesting jerseys. With the Winter Classic, not as excited for that matchup, but I think the jerseys will be a ton of fun. That's just my thoughts, though. Let me know your guys' in the comments down below. Are you guys excited for these teams? Are you guys excited for these games? Are you going to go to any of them? I'd love to hear it in the comments. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on all my social medias. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.